everybody, this is Susan. This is my channel, Susan's Road Less Traveled. I'm going to continue today in our manual, How to Keep Your Volkswagen Alive by John Muir. And we're going to dive into chapters 4 and 5 today and do a little combination because they're rather short. So I think we can get through them pretty quickly. So let's get started. Chapter 4 is Tools and Spare Parts. People who philosophize about tools say, the best are none too good, but the semantics of best are beyond anything. Every Volksy has some tools kicking around. Some come with the car from the factory and are supposed to handle the simplest things. But if you've ever tried to get the lug nuts off a flat tire with that thing they call a wrench, then and only then do you realize how impractical they are. The Volkswagen uses the metric system, so you must provide yourself with tools to match. On the following pages, you'll find 3 lists of tools and miscellanea you'll need to keep your Volkswagen alive. There's a basic set that every VW owner should carry in the car. Yes, even if you never intend to do anything. So the shining knight in the Mustang who stops to help you will have the right tools and, of course, these directions when he stops. His tools won't fit. There are 2 general methods of obtaining tools. If you have the bread, just go buy them. At current labor rates for mechanics, the tool investment is soon back in your pocket. If you're beat for bread, read the procedure, make a list of what you actually need, and then buy or borrow just that much. In time, your stock of tools will get built up. You might get hung up with a road emergency or 2, but that will just speed your accumulation of a tool stash. I'm just going to go over, he lists out 3 phases of tools, phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3, obviously, as you get deeper into major engine work. But I'm just going to talk about phase 1. The basic set of tools is called phase 1 and will perform the procedures so marked. The next degree of difficulty or proficiency, whichever, calls for phase 2 tools and phase 3 tools. Include just about everything you would ever need for a VW. Mostly, the tool scene depends on just how independent you wish to become from the service organizations and garages. With the tool list are basic spare kits, which you should have with you in the car at all times, a different bunch for each phase. To save bread, man, you can buy tools from one of those discount stores that are everywhere these days and are not excellent, but are probably good enough if you only work on one car. So phase 1 tools lists the following. A Bilstein jack, the kind that turns with your lug wrench. It should come with the car from Germany. A lug wrench, the kind that looks like a crank. They are hard to find, but excellent. The cross type is second choice, and that's what's in my car. A flashlight, get a good one with a magnet holder. Big screwdriver, 18 or 24 inch with a plastic handle. Screwdriver set, the kind with a handle and several different blades. 3/8 inch drive metric socket wrench. They come in a flat metal box with sizes from 8mm to maybe 19. Buy a spark plug socket 21mm or 13/16 and a universal drive. Box open end wrenches of sizes 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13, 14, 17, and 21mm. A Boy Scout or Swiss Army knife. A hammer. and a static timing light. Safety equipment should include such as a fire extinguisher and safety goggles, a tach dwell meter to set points and idle RPM, Allen head metric set, chisels, punches, and drifts, files, vice grip, 6 or 8 inch with a narrow jaw, crescent wrench, 10 inch, handy to have even if you don't use it much, feeler gauges, blades, or set, compression tester, wire brush, pliers, tire gauge, miscellanea equals 2 feet of 2-inch fine emery cloth rolled up with a rubber band. Never use it on generator or starter. Use sandpaper. For hot wiring, 3-foot piece of number 14 wire with an alligator clip at each end. And for conveniences, a pair of coveralls, a stocking cap for your long hair, a rag, cleaning pan, low stool to sit on while you work, and a drop light. Phase 1 spare parts. These are the things I wouldn't even go to the drive-in without. Spark plugs. When you do the 3,000-mile maintenance gig, get your plugs, points, and condenser for the next job, or get your second set of plugs cleaned right away. You should have this stuff in the car. Ignition points and condenser go together like bread and butter. Fan belt. Never be without this spare. VW will not run without one. Buy it from a VW dealer. They fit better. Overhaul gasket set or valve cover gaskets only. Really handy, and you can replace the ones you use. And last but not least, rubber spark plug covers. Oil. Carry 1 or 2 quarts of the kind you use. And fuses and bulbs. Buy a package of fuses and a couple of taillight bulbs and turn signal bulbs. I carry a small bulb for the warning lights. Before you throw up your hands in the face of an impossible outlay of money, I would like to point out that tools arrive as needed. You buy only what you need to do the job you're doing. It actually takes very little to get started, and for a few bucks, you can set up to do the maintenance work. Then as time goes on, you can build up the full Phase 1 set as you do the Phase 1 procedures. If you equip yourself for Phase 1 right away, you'll spend a lot for tools, less for spare parts, and the price of this book, and you're ready. When that fan belt breaks in the middle of a snowy night, raise your face and smile. That's the end of chapter 4. Chapter 5, How to Drive a Volkswagen. With love, of course, probably the best advice I can give you. But there are certain differences from American Iron that might help you understand what this particular type of love means. First, in the Volkswagen, you have to shift, and that requires a degree of coordination between your left foot and your right foot that only practice will develop. There are 4 gears forward, and you have to use them all the time. No shortcuts like starting in second and skipping third. You must use all 4 gears. Second, you must get used to shifting on hills And the gradual progress that a Volkswagen bus makes in the mountains means just one thing: start earlier. Third, don't over-rev the engine. Later models have governors that prevent over-revving on the high side, but don't help when going down a steep hill in third. To make the engine run too fast or over-rev at any time means stretching the engine past its ability to return to the same shape. There are speeds you shall not exceed in each gear. Learn them and stick to them and love it. Fourth, never lug the engine. You must shift down on that hill or in town to keep the engine RPM about 2,000, or you will soon pay for your perfidy with a new engine. Fifth, and perhaps most important, warm up the engine before moving. 90% of engine wear happens in the first 15 minutes of operation. Warming up the engine is a sacred rite, just like checking the oil before you start. So, here's a procedure for driving with mind and love together. Step 1, check oil and generator belt. Step 2, check gas and warning lights. Step 3, warm it up. Step 4, through the gears. Step 5, driving tips. Step 6 is safety. So let's just go through the one that says through the gears. Step 4, with the engine warm, check the handbrake and make sure it's off. Now you're ready to go, so put it in reverse if need be to get yourself straight with the road. Shift to low, push with the right and up with the left, and smoothly accelerate to 10 miles per hour. Then shift to second and take a second to check your brakes, especially in San Francisco. At 20 miles per hour, shift to third. If you are in town, that's as far as you need to go. The VW sedan will go 15 miles per hour in first, 25 in second, and to 40 in third. The bus will go to 35 in third. This means that for ordinary driving in town, i.e. 35 to 40, you will never get your Volkswagen into fourth until you get on the freeway or out of town on the highway. Remember that. The worst thing next to not warming up the engine or over-revving is to lug the VW. Lug means to under-rev the engine with a load on it. So if we can't over-rev the engine and we can't under-rev it, what can we do? Learn to feel with your car and treat it right with the correct revolutions and coordinations and warm it up. Shifting down has similar parameters. The bus should be shifted from fourth to third when the speedo says 35, and down to second when it says 20, and into first at 10. Memorize 10, 20, 35, 60. That's for the bus. For the bug, it's 15, 25, 40, 70. As the above was written in 1969, there have naturally been some changes in the speeds you can drive in each gear since then. Okay, for the newer Beetles, Gias, Type 3s, you can use 20, 30, 50, 80. But you still drive in third in town in all Volksies. For the bus, you can use 15, 30, 45, 65. And you can go up to 50 in third as you accelerate. Then shift to fourth. If you can't do this, please go buy a Ford with an automatic transmission, as you'll be unhappy in a Volkswagen. That concludes Chapter 5. Next time, we'll read Chapter 6, which is entitled Flat Tire. Have a good evening, everybody.